So, what really makes that life important? I mean, is it all about the wealth, the status, the gold? Or is it something deeper, something more fundamental? Today, we're going to unpack that exact question. We're diving into this incredible story about two friends who go their separate ways, only to find they have completely different ideas of what success really means. Let's get into it. Here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll meet the two friends and see the very different paths they took. Then, we'll explore what a life of gold looks like and contrast that with a life of iron. After that, we'll weigh them against each other. And finally, we'll uncover what this story says the real treasure is. All right, so our story kicks off with two young friends, John and Patrick. They make a pact, a serious promise. They decide to part ways and then meet back at the exact same spot in 10 years to see what they've become. One heads for the big city, and the other, well, he heads over the mountains. And wow, when that decade is up, the difference is just staggering. John shows up, a simple blacksmith, but Patrick, oh, he arrives with a whole entourage. He's now Sir Patrick Sullivan, the chief treasurer for the entire kingdom, and a member of the king's personal court. Talk about two different worlds. So what does this life of gold actually look like up close? Let's step into Sir Patrick's world for a minute and see the kind of success he's built for himself. I mean, Patrick's life is pure luxury. We're talking a massive mansion where the door handles are made of solid gold. He had a private brook engineered just to look like the one from their childhood village. And then there's the endless supply of exotic foods, rare perfumes, and custom suits made of silk and velvet, just sparkling with gems. It's almost unbelievable. And get this, to put a number on it, his income is a mind-blowing 15,000 gold coins every single month. The story points out that's enough cash to buy his friend John's entire village and then renovate it 12 times over. I mean, that is the absolute peak of material wealth. But here's the twist. Right in the middle of all this splendor, Patrick admits something pretty startling. He has no time for any of it. He is so bogged down with royal duties, trade deals, and endless meetings that he has, and this is a direct quote, no time to eat, sleep, or swim. He owns everything, but he can't enjoy anything. Okay, now let's flip the coin. We're going to travel beyond the mountains and see the other side of that pact. Let's discover the world of John, the village blacksmith, and what this so-called life of iron is all about. See, John's world isn't defined by what he has, but by what he does. The minute we see him, a young girl runs up, totally distressed because her kettle's broken and she can't make tea for her sick father. Without a second thought, John just gives her his own kettle and promises to have hers fixed by morning. Then, just moments later, another craftsman shows up. His work has completely stopped because one of his tools broke. He's on a deadline, he needs it fixed right away, and John's skill is literally the one thing that can get this guy back to earning his living. And the line keeps forming. Another villager comes up needing 500 nails. It seems like a simple thing, right? But it shows you that John's work, the nails, the tools, the repairs, it's the absolute foundation that the rest of the community is built on. He's essential. So here's the bottom line. John's hands aren't clean. They're covered in soot from coal, iron, and fire every single day. And his paycheck? It's not a set salary of gold coins. It's just whatever his community, a community of everyday people, can afford to give him. Okay, so this is the moment of truth. When we put these two lives, this life of gold and this life of iron, side by side, what's their true weight? Where does the real value lie? This chart just lays it out perfectly. Patrick's importance? It comes from a title the king gave him. John's importance? It comes directly from the needs of his community. Patrick's daily worries are about abstract things like trade agreements. John's worries are about a very real, very concrete broken tool. Patrick's reward is gold. John's is gratitude. You see the pattern? Patrick's impact is huge, but you can't really touch it, while John's is local, direct, and felt by every single person around him. And all of this brings us to the story's powerful conclusion. It really forces us to redefine everything, to look past the shiny surface and find the real treasure. The big turning point happens when the kingdom's general visits the village. He's not looking for another treasurer. He has plenty of those. He needs skilled craftsmen. He sees John's work, his skill, and has this aha moment. He realizes John is vital to the kingdom's security. So he offers him a contract to make swords, daggers, and horseshoes for the army. This simple blacksmith, as it turns out,
is indispensable.
So this gives us a totally new definition of what it means to be important, right? It's not about a fancy title someone gives you or how much gold you can pile up. Real importance is a measure of how indispensable you are. It's the value you create when you skillfully apply your craft, whatever that craft might be. And really, the story just boils it all down to this one simple, powerful truth. It doesn't matter if you're working with iron or with gold, if you're in a tiny village or a grand palace. At the end of the day, it's how well you do what you do that makes you truly important. So that leaves us with one last question to think about. In a world that is constantly screaming about the value of gold, this story asks us to take a harder look at the value of iron, the value of skill, of contribution, of being truly needed. So how do you